So welcome to DLD College London. This is the first in a series of webinars from the college. Today we have Bright Futures with IFP, which is our International Foundation Programme. I'd like to introduce to you Celestine Crawley, who is the head of our IFP programme, and also Lauren Moores, who's our Assistant Principal Academic. So with no further ado, welcome to Celestine.
Hi everyone, how are you? I'm just going to share my presentation if you bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, so today we're going to talk to you about our International Foundation Programme. So at DLD, our IFP is a pretty unique opportunity for our students. They can study a range of pathways across different subject areas. So what makes our IFP unique compared to others that are out there that students can potentially enroll on? So our IFP is separated into 2 semesters. So they have 2 exams and a reset opportunity. The first exam is at December, and that assesses the information and subjects that they've covered from September to December. Then from January to May, they will have semester 2, and in May they have their exams for those modules covered between that period, January to May. For those students that may need to improve a grade or may have failed a module in either semester 1 or semester 2, there is an opportunity to retake their exams in June. They can keep their best grade from those exams and use that going forward to their university destination. Again, our exams are written and assessed in-house. So our papers are written by the teachers that teach the students on the course, and everything is externally accredited and moderated by NCFE. It's a 1-year intensive course and it's accepted by over 90 universities in the UK. We do have some destinations in Switzerland that do accept our IFP as well. Ideally, students enrolling on our IFP course should have an IELTS of minimum of a 5. We would expect that across the subtests. This is because it's an intensive course, so they need to be able to understand the concepts and terms that are delivered within their subject area. As well as that, all of our students have a dedicated university admissions tutor who oversees their UCAS application. They give them support with potential universities that they want to apply to, as well as one-to-one support with their personal statement. Furthermore, students also have dedicated personal development lessons, and from September to December, that term is dedicated to helping each student research potential universities and courses that they would like to go to. We encourage the student then to attend open days to get a feel for the university and the environment that they would potentially move on to after DLD. This then helps them to kind of make a decision on what their top 5 choices would be. As well as that, their personal development tutor allows them to explore various different aspects of CCAs and co-curricular activities that we offer at DLD. All of this then will help formulate a really good personal statement for students to submit with their UCAS application. So what does our IFP entail? So each of our students will have core strands that are a compulsory part of their course. They have Essential Maths 1 and 2, which are both worth 7.5% of their end of year grade. This essential maths course is the equivalent to a GCSE of maths. So it's particularly beneficial for those students that join us that haven't had a GCSE qualification in the past. Furthermore, they look at academic skills and research. The academic skills and research is essentially a mini research project to get them in the mindset of thinking about what a dissertation might look like at university. They pick a research essay title, they conduct primary and secondary research on that title, and they produce a presentation and an essay based on that. In those classes, students are shown how to research, how to find reliable information, and also how to reference and write a bibliography. And then the last element of that is the personal development, where they develop transferable skills that will not only help them at university, but also when they move on to a career in industry. Overall, these core strands make up 30% of their overall grade, and the other 70% come from the various different pathways. So typical pathways that students study with us at DLD are social science, biomedical science, business and economics, computer science, engineering, fashion management, financial technology, advanced maths and economics, and art and design. Within these pathways, there are 2 modules, as I said, that are semesterized. Module 1 is examined in semester 1 and module 2 is examined in semester 2. Each of these is worth 35% each. A student must pass each of these modules in order to be awarded a final certificate for their IFP and in order for them to progress on to university. I am going to hand you over to Lauren, who is going to talk about why you should choose DLD for your son or daughter's IFP.
Thank you very much, Celestine. So having had a look at the pathways and understanding the core modules, the big impact from a DLD point of view and why to study the IFP, we believe is in these 4 areas. So first of all, you can see from that pathway slide that there is a huge level of variety. And so it's choosing a program that suits the strengths of the learner, looking at their previous experience, but also looking in an area that they look and want to go further forward with, which leads us into that kind of career focused area. We're looking at building their skills for specific university programs, which is why it's really important we have those core areas that then link up with their specific wants, their specific strengths, and how we can support them in further progressing those areas too. It also is very much a development pathway and program. We're looking to not just give them an education from an academic point of view, but we're looking at how we can improve their English and also their academic rigor at the same time. So looking at how we prepare them for university with independent study, with specific research tasks, and really giving them that all-round educational piece. With that, it's looking at developing strategic partnerships. There are a wide choice of universities across the UK, and as Celestine has alluded to, in different parts of the world. And we are looking at how we can develop those partnerships from a point of view of pathways at specific universities. A lot of our students come wanting to go to university in London, and we have multiple choices there. But as Celestine has said, it's growing, and we are looking at developing that in a huge manner too. So when we look at some of our university destinations, and again, I do really say that these are some of them because there is a multiple list. Some of our leavers have gone to many places in London, including King's College, City University of London, Royal Holloway, Ravensbourne College of the Arts, Queen Mary's University, Kingston University, and University of Westminster. But we do have a lot that are looking further afield now in the UK, whether that be Southampton, Durham, Exeter. But I do want to make sure that we are aware that depending on the pathway chosen, depending on where leavers will look to go. So specific pathways are designed at different to apply to different universities, looking at the university strengths, but also looking at where the leavers want to go. And this list is continuously growing. Part of what we are looking to do is extend our university destination list in the UK, but also in Europe.
So this brings us on to some frequent asked questions, and I believe that Rachel is going to start some of these.
Yeah. Hi, Celestine. So you've set us off with a few questions here. So if you could just talk over again what level of IELTS a student needs, please.
So for all of our courses, we would like students to have a minimum of a 5.0 overall and across each of the subtests. This allows them to quickly adapt and to be able to manage the workload that comes with an intensive one-year course. We have found in the past that anything lower than the 5, students really struggle. Not only academically, but they struggle to access the English language aspect of it. And it's quite unfair from that point of view for them to kind of really push and try and get there. So we have set a minimum of a 5. We can see success in those students and they go on to very good top universities within the UK.
Okay, because this is one of the main questions that we get asked, and also we have our academic English department, so that when they do arrive with us, every student is timetabled academic English, and then they're supported with the level that they require to get to university. Isn't that correct, Celestine?
Yeah, so as part of their program, they will be timetabled onto academic English lessons. Again, these are quite small groups where the teacher will prepare them specifically for the IELTS examination. So they'll have speaking, listening, reading and writing preparation for the IELTS. All students then will sit the exam in December. And pending that, our college minimum is a 6.5. So if they meet that target, and it's then the target that they need for university, they can then use that time to study for their final examinations from January to May. We do know that universities like King's and Queen Mary, for some of their courses, they need a 7 or a 7.5. So it's when you're applying, and if you know what universities that you want to attend or apply to, I would highly advise looking at their entry requirements for that course, so that you know what you need to work towards for the year that you're with us on the IFP.
Great. We thought it's good to reiterate whether they need to have studied GCSE. I know the programme gives them that foundation of maths, but what about other GCSEs?
It's not necessary to have GCSEs, but as I said, if a student does have them, it adds to their academic portfolio. So when they're applying to UCAS, it is looked upon favourably by universities, but at the same time, students can have other aspects that they have spent time on. For example, they may have developed an art portfolio, a fashion portfolio, or computer science portfolio. All of these aspects will really help students succeed to their desired university. So in essence, we cover the basics within the program. So as I said, the essential maths is the equivalent to a GCSE in maths, which all universities in the UK expect students to have. And again, the IELTS qualification is the alternative for an English language GCSE. So therefore, the minimum requirements that students need to have to get into a university in the UK is dealt with within our course through either the essential maths or the IELTS. What I would say, as I've mentioned already, is if they are planning to study art, fashion, computer science, developing that portfolio prior to starting at DLD, because once you start to apply to universities, they will invite you to interview and they will want to see what you have been working on over the course of a number of years and how your skills have developed and your interest in those areas.
Yeah, brilliant. So that leads us on to a couple of pre-event questions, actually. So what factors could lead to better success in approval of universities? And which leads us again into, you know, whether the higher ranked universities will accept the IFP.
Yeah, so in order to prepare for university, I guess we always say to students, universities are looking for a fully rounded individual. They're not looking for someone with sole academic focus that has no interest in anything else. They want students to have hobbies. They want students to have, you know, interest in other fields. So if you're a computer science student, for example, you know, attending lectures on various topics, maybe having piano as a hobby, having volunteering at a local school, or being a mentor for a younger student, or if you're fortunate enough to have work experience and to be able to shadow somebody in the industry that you want to go into, all of these things are looked upon favorably at university. As well as that, we offer the Duke of Edinburgh here at DLD. So if students find that they don't have some of these additional skills, if they sign up to the Duke of Edinburgh here during their time, they can achieve a bronze or silver or gold award, and through that they develop various skills that will be transferable to university. They can pick up hobbies, or they can learn something new during that Duke of Edinburgh. So there's lots of activities here that we can offer if you find that you're lacking in certain areas. Okay,
thank you. So a couple of questions about preparation for applying to university. One being, how do you help students find the best option for them with further study? And one that's come in live this morning, what kind of support do we provide to students in case they want to take a course at a university which is not on our list of courses that accept IFP students?
So to answer your second part of that question, if there's a university that is not on the list of what we have already, we always advise the students to contact the admissions department. We help them with that email that they will write. I will give them the specifications for their course so that they can send them to that admissions department. Typically what we find is that if a university has made an offer for any of our IFPs in the past, they typically will consider any new pathway. So we've had that with the social science and the computer science last year. Mm-hmm. So students applied to the likes of Queen Mary, to King's, to City. And while it's a very new course for us, they were more than happy to make our students an offer or consider that application. All the universities say that they will consider applications on a case-by-case basis, but ultimately it comes down to the personal statement and what that student puts across in their personal statement as to whether the university admissions tutor will feel that that student is suitable for the course at their university. Okay. And can you remind me of the first part of that question?
Yeah, how do you help students find the best option for them with further study?
Well, I think I touched on that with the university admissions tutor. So every student has a dedicated university admissions tutor who they meet with on a weekly basis. That is dedicated one-to-one time where they can have these discussions about different options, different courses, different universities. And through research together and independently, you know, and this is something that parents or guardians can help the student with as well. You know, get engaged in that conversation with them and kind of help them, coach them along, encourage them to go to open days. I always find that lots of students will say, I'm going to go to X university because my friend goes there and they like it. You know, they're not their friend. They need to go and experience for themselves, see what they feel, and if they could see themselves there that following September. We also, as I mentioned, the personal development teacher. From September to December, that time in class again is dedicated time to that preparation for university, researching courses, researching universities, helping them write and refine their personal statement, and looking at things that they have done in life that will really set them apart from other candidates applying for the same course. So all of those things, together with, you know, their teachers, even in lessons, everybody influences the student when they're looking at university courses, you know, and everybody is happy to share their opinion.
Fantastic. So we had a pre-event question about specifically applying to business universities, and that's the same message, you know, do your research, work with the UATs, work with Celestine, but the student is ultimately responsible for really investigating that course and finding out what the requirements are and what the timings are. Another live question about courses which include a year in industry. How does the student specify that they want to participate in that year in industry? Is it done through UCAS? Well, normally it is. Yeah, you would choose a student as a course that includes a year in industry. And with regards to whether that specific company is assigned to them, again, the universities work in different ways, and that's all down to the research that the student must do under the guidance of our university admissions tutors.
It's also, again, if they click on a course that has a sandwich year with a year in industry, usually in the breakdown it will tell you all of the businesses or even if it's a year abroad, it will either tell you the universities abroad that you can go to or the businesses that they work with. How they're assigned to students, or if they can pick and choose, I'm not sure. That's down to the different departments within the university, how that works with them.
Yeah. So thanks, David, for your questions. So Cambridge and Oxford, big question. Do they take the IFP?
Unfortunately, they don't. They will say they'll consider it, but you know, no students have applied before, and I don't think that they would make an offer for our IFP. Similarly, the likes of Imperial, LSE, UCL would be of the same mindset. They will say we'll consider an application on a case-by-case basis, but they don't make offers as regularly as other universities within the UK. I think we've had one application and one offer to UCL, and that was maybe 6 years ago, and that student had really done a lot. They had some work experience under their belts, you know, they had done a lot in their time, so it was more of an exception, I think, rather than the rule. In that case.
So I think we've covered preparation for the UCAS application. Is there anything more that you'd like to say on that?
I don't.
Okay.
I think what's important when we consider preparing for the UCAS is all the external support that the student may get. It's not just about having a UAT who they can talk to, but also using their housemaster or housemistress and their personal tutor to discuss their options. We're very lucky that we've got Celestine as head of IFP to oversee it all as well. So when it comes to preparing, there is multiple avenues that they can talk to. And let's not forget their subject leads. I think where the IFP is also great is the individual research project allows them to discover those avenues that they may not have considered. And having those further discussions with members of staff within DLD who are close and keeping an eye on them pastorally as well as academic really helps give them an all-rounded application, whether that's looking at personal statements and where to specifically apply.
Fabulous, because there was a pre-event question from a parent who's concerned about what the options are for a student if they fail the course and whether a retake was a possibility. Don't know whether you can talk about some of the options available there.
So typically, we don't have many failures on the course. We have a very rigorous assessment and intervention procedure for students. So students are always communicated with on their performance. We have many clinics that are offered by the various departments where students can go to receive some help and support with areas that they're struggling with. Likewise, in lessons, there is a heavy focus on exam technique and exam development to ensure that the student is familiar with what's expected of them on the day of the exam. You know, I don't think that if a student did fail, and they are few and far between, I haven't had a student fail in quite a long time, it would all come down to their age, their visa, and then we kind of go from there and assess the options that they have from that perspective.
Okay.
Do you want to add anything else, Lauren, to that?
No, I think it kind of goes back to my point. What is great is we put lots of measures in place from a progress throughout the year to make sure that doesn't happen as much as possible. So it is those regular meetings with their course leads, but also with Celestine, with their HMs, making sure that they remain on track. And that track is obviously for a pass and for each individual student to go beyond their own expectations. And I think that's why, as Celestine alludes to, that our success rate has been so good.
Wonderful, thank you. We've got one final question, unless anybody who's joined us this morning wants to add anything more. But can you, one parent has asked, how can a parent support the students whilst they're studying the IFP?
I think we kind of already talked through that in various different aspects. I guess being engaged with the student about what they're doing on a regular basis, checking in on them and seeing how things are going, giving advice on the various different universities and courses that might be on offer. Again, I think if need be, feeling free to contact the subject leader of the department or contact me to get an update on their performance and how they can help that way. You know, there's lots of things that a parent can do to help, but I think the number one thing is being there for when there are difficult times and when there's a lot of work to be done to be that force of positivity and encouragement and encourage that resilience among the students, because there are times, particularly after assessment periods or in-class assessments, where students might not have done as well as they have hoped, but you know, to take it as a learning curve and to pick themselves back up again and to learn from that experience and then apply it again going forward, not to give up, because it's an intensive year, it's a lot of work, and there is pressure points in the year, and obviously we as teachers, as head of IFP, their HMs, we're all there for support, but to have that from a home perspective as well would be great. Lovely. Because ultimately we all want the same end goal for the student, for them to be successful and to go on to their first university of choice.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Celestine, and thank you, Lauren. It's been really insightful into the International Foundation programme. I hope it's given everybody who's attended this morning a good overview of the level of support that's offered to the students, and how if they remain engaged with the programme and engaged with the school, the support systems are there and the teaching is there. That means that they will have a successful outcome. So thank you everybody for your time. If you do have any questions post-event, please don't hesitate to contact any of us, but we will send you a link to the recording as well, so you've got that back to refer to. I wish everybody a pleasant day, and we hope to see you again soon. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.